Happy Wednesday, everybody. It's me, Jessica, your health fitness program manager from McLean. And Wednesdays are one of my favorite days because I love teaching this Yin Yoga class. Today's class is going to be, bum-ba-da-bum, a big time hip opener because we store a lot of emotions in our hips and it's spring and it's beautiful outside. So let's release those emotions and just like have the best new spring journey that we possibly can. I'm wearing orange today because today's class and the hips that we're opening are supposed to be part of the second chakra, the Sacral Chakra, and orange is the color associated with that. So if you have something orange that you can throw on today, cool. I just so happen to be wearing an orange sports bra this morning, so I was kind of excited as I was putting together and just researching a little bit more about hip openers and why they're awesome. I like learning. All right, so we've got 3 minutes till we get started. I recommend having a block or two today, especially if you know that in general hip openers are challenging. And also because we will be doing frog. If you don't have a block, but you have a pillow or a rolled up towel or blanket that you can use, that's a great option as well, just to give yourself a little lifted support. And hopefully we'll have time to end with some hip openers themselves. I'm gonna synchronize my watches. Okay, drink some water now. You're welcome to take a water break if you need it. I would recommend that you do that between postures. We're gonna start in kneeling today, so you might want to use that prop in kneeling. I'm gonna grab myself some water real fast. And then start a little early, why not? So we officially start in 1 minute. We're gonna start in kneeling. If kneeling is really uncomfortable for you to sit all the way back on your heels, think about placing something either between your legs, like a block, that you can sit supported on, even if you wanna bring the block a little bit higher so it's less pressure on the back of your legs. Sometimes even just placing a towel or a strap right here behind your legs can help to take off a little bit of the pressure. I like this upright kneeling. This is like super comfortable. Hi everyone, it's me, Jessica, your health fitness program manager from McLean, and I'm here to lead you through your Yin Yoga practice to help release your mind. Release your mind, relax your body, get all these great feelings of love. I'm like, what is today's class? Improving your mood. Couldn't read my own handwriting. Yeah, we're gonna release our mind too. All right, so starting off in kneeling. Remember this is yin, so you're meant to relax. I have a block underneath of my glutes right here to help be a little bit more lifted, to find this nice long spine. If, again, you have trouble with kneeling and you're just tuning in, you can always kneel right here, even bringing your toes together for a little bit more stability in your base. Just make sure that you're not turning the arches of your feet down and your toes out, because that can put a lot of stress on your ankles. All right, so we're gonna get started right here. Welcome. Take notice of just how your body is feeling today. Use your inhale to take in the awareness of whatever sensations that you are feeling, and use your exhale to let go of whatever it is that does not serve you. Just make it a little warmer in here so that doesn't interrupt us. Okay, do your best to create some space with your shoulders, releasing away from your ears. And find as much relaxation in your breath as you can. Once relaxing, your breath has started to feel comfortable and natural, start to once again tune into how your body is feeling today. Notice where you might be creating some extra tension. Typical places are furrowing your brow, tightening your jaw, tension in the shoulders, squeezing your glutes. Maybe you make fists with your hands. You know wherever it is that your tension hides. Keep checking back in on those places throughout today's practice. Encourage it to melt away as much as possible. We're working to create as much stillness as we can, both in our minds and in our bodies. So remember that if your eyes are moving, your mind is moving. Find one soft spot to focus your gaze in front of you, and if you still find yourself looking around the room, simply close your eyes, come back to your breath. We'll spend one more minute right here. Next up is big toe stretch. You're welcome to flutter your eyes open and take a gander at me and what we're doing, or just do your best to create the shapes that I describe verbally. If you want, you can bring your hands down to the mat. I'm going to remove the block from behind me so that I have lots of space to apply the pressure that feels right for me. Tuck your toes under and really walk your toes under. Maybe you even walk your knees back just a little bit to start to already feel some pressure of your toes stretching underneath of you. This might be such a big stretch that you don't want to go any further. However, if you would like to challenge yourself a little bit more, we're going to spend a total of 2 minutes. We're already in it in big toe stretch. So see if you can come back up to a kneeling position, but work to find that stillness. So if this stretch is too much for you, you're welcome to keep your hands at your knees, back down on your mat. Once again, work to find some relaxation in the tense spots of your body, applying equal pressure throughout the ball of your foot to the big toe. 1 minute left right here. It's normal to feel tingling, trembling as we're waking up, some just energy that's been dormant for a while. Also breaking down some scar tissue and creating some new connections. So stick with it best you can. However, if you find any stretches today, switch from just being a sensation of awareness to truly feeling painful. Feel free and encouraged to come out and be smart for your body and find a new place to hold the stretch. One more big inhale. And on your exhale, bring your hands back down to the mat and untuck your toes. Go ahead, tap the tops of your feet on the floor a couple times. Next, we're going to go for an ankle stretch. So walk your legs together, side by side. And once again, come on back into that kneeling position. We'll spend just about a minute right here alternating, pressing the tops of the feet down into the floor. So take a little tilt of that pelvis to take the rounding out of your lower back, a little engagement of your belly, and just lift up one knee and then the other knee. Maybe your knee is able to lift up really high. Maybe you have a lot of flexibility in your ankles. Maybe they're really tight. Just waken that body up. Do your best to stay lifted in that upper body. Got one more time in on each side. Go for two. And then bring yourself up into tabletop for a little bit of cat-cow. We got 2 minutes of cat-cow, so find what feels good for you. Think about really moving slowly and with your breath, the whole length of the breath. So the whole length of your inhale or exhale, wherever you choose to move, doing what feels natural and right, you find the movement. So it's not and then move. It's a slow breath the whole time, the whole inhale, and alternately the whole exhale. Maybe get some stretches into the side body. Continue to use your breath and just inhale in the awareness. Maybe as you're gently rolling those hips or your shoulders, you notice a tense spot that you didn't even realize was tense. Maybe you want to give a little bit more attention right here into stretching your wrists through both flexion and extension. We've got just about 1 minute left. We're going to get up off of our hands after this one and come onto our feet. Do, 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 do. So this is one of the only active postures that we have today. Enjoy it. Enjoy just getting out any stored energy that really needs to be released right now. Next time you pass through tabletop, stay there. Ground your hands, palms underneath of your shoulders. Once again, tuck your toes underneath of your feet and send your hips up towards the ceiling. We're going to walk our legs up to our hands right away and come into a dangle. Feel free to really bring a generous bend to your knees and make sure that you actively shift the weight into your heels. So I'd rather you be in a supported squat with your belly against your thigh. Maybe you even actively move your belly gently out of the way. You should have a slight contraction of your abdominal core, at least a slight contraction, because we've got a forward hinge. That's going to help you relax and release the tension in your back. We've got a total of 3 minutes here, but we're already about 1 minute in. You can use your prop if the floor feels really far away to relax your hands. If you want, you can even place your hands underneath of your feet for a little extra stimulation and massage, but you're finding something that you can hang out in without moving for the next 2 minutes. Make sure that head is relaxed down towards the floor, taking the wrinkles out of your neck, releasing your shoulders from your ears as much as possible. So we'll use that inhale to notice where you feel any tension. We should feel a nice stretch along the back of the legs, especially the more the hips are lifted, but work to relax your upper body, your breath, and your mind as much as you can. All right, we're gonna stick with this forward fold. If you went for a gorilla pose and were stepping on your hands as I was, release your hands from under your feet. Heel toe your feet a little bit wider apart. And then turn your toes out to a 45-degree angle, because next up we have a squat. Take your time, lower yourself down towards the floor, and here's where those props come in handy, because we're gonna hang out here for 2 minutes. So feel free to place a prop under your glutes. This is yin. We're meant to relax. You can still feel a big opening of your hips. If sitting on a prop, if a block is not accessible to you, you can always enjoy stump. So lowering yourself all the way down towards the floor and just bringing your heels in as close as you can, using your hands to apply some pressure on your shins to really draw your body forward to feel that same big stretch in your hips. I'll hang out down here because we got 1 minute left of our squat or stump. Find that stillness. Find your breath. We're going to come back into our dangle once again. So if you're in squat, you can simply place your hands on the floor. And if you're in stump, you might need to fold your legs back and come into the same way we started, from tabletop, tucking your toes under, sending your hips up and walking your feet back up towards your hands. Maybe you can straighten your legs a little bit more in the second dangle. Make sure that you still have your belly supported on your thighs. If you find that you're reaching towards the floor and there is a lot of rounding and you can't get your belly towards your thighs, walk your hands out even further to be in a shortened version of down dog, and that will help you to press that belly a little bit more towards your thighs. So either a shortened down dog, you can enjoy those bent knees, or hanging out in your dangle. We've got 2 minutes left right here. Check in with your upper body and notice what sort of tension you are creating in the head, in the neck, in the shoulders. I know it seems natural to let your shoulders release towards your ears as you're here in the dangle, but check out what it feels like to draw your shoulder blades back down your back. Maybe you even relax your hands at your back, because you've got 1.5 minutes left. Check back in with your feet for this final minute. Make sure that you have most of the weight in your heels, that you're still equally applying pressure through the big toe and the ball under the little toe. Enjoy all that blood rushing to your head. Just a couple breaths left right here. Take your time, release your hands down to the floor if they were not already there. Once again, heel toe your feet out about mat width distance apart and turn your toes out to a 45-degree angle. Shift the weight into your heels. Remember, you have the option to come down all the way onto the floor and stump, or sit on your block and apply the pressure of your elbows towards your inner outer thighs. Find that lifted chest, some length through the spine. You're amazing. We got a little over a minute left right here. I know that having your eyes closed can challenge your balance, especially in a squat, so this is a great time to practice a soft gaze. Take comfort that you've got about 2 or 3 breaths left right here. Take your time, release your hands back to the floor. Release yourself down to the floor. Next up, we have a wide legged tadpole / child's pose. So I want you to bring your toes together, and then I want you to bring your glutes back towards your heels and open your knees as wide as they can. Relax your head down towards the floor. You can keep your arms here by your side for a little bit of support, or if it feels good to relax your belly all the way down to the floor, if you have that sort of flexibility to sort of be in a butterfly here, you can always release your arms down behind you. We're going to stay here for a little over a minute. So focus on the stretch that you're creating once again through your hips, very similar to the stretch that we just enjoyed in our squat. Maybe a little bit more towards, who am I kidding? Towards those inner thighs as opposed to the top of the hips. Take your time to lift yourself back up. Keep your prop nearby, because next up we're coming into frog. So I want you to do the best that you can to get your hips in line with your knees. And we're going to take these heels that are close towards our glute and turn our feet out to create some 90-degree angles. You can bring your forearms down to the mat. But this is yin, so we're looking to be as relaxed as possible. So if you've got a prop that you can place under your upper body, so you can relax here, oh my gosh, in this stretch as much as you can without facing the pressure of bringing your chest down to the floor, cool. And if you don't have any props, you can always place your forearms down on the mat. You've got just over 2 minutes right here. If you're finding that you're really struggling with doing 2 legs at a time, switch to just extending one leg behind you and do frog with just one leg. I'll let you know when this minute ends, and you can always switch to the opposite leg. So think about sinking your glutes towards the back of the mat as opposed to bringing that body weight forward towards your elbows to keep the stretch in the lower half of your body. Relax your shoulders as much as you can. Stick with that slow, deep breath. All right, if you only have one leg doing frog at a time, switch to that opposite leg. Take your time, move with intention, but also get into the posture as quickly as possible. I know those sound like just juxtaposed ideas to take your time, but get there as quickly as possible. Like, don't be late for the bus, but at the same time, the bus isn't going to go anywhere without you. But, like, don't be late for the bus. Just a couple of breaths left right here. All right, walk those hands back in close to your chest. I think it's helpful to bring the toes back in as you press yourself up. Bring those legs in one at a time. You're gonna move the props out of the way. Adios, y'all. And then with your hand palms down on the floor, tuck your toes under, send your hips up towards the ceiling, just taking a moment here in down dog. Oh, find what feels good. Find the stretch that's right for you. Feel free to pedal through those heels. Bring a little bit more love to those calves that we've gotten so far today. Awesome. Keep your left foot ground with the floor. Inhale your right leg all the way up towards the ceiling. Keep that chest squared towards the mat. Draw your right knee forward towards your elbow and start to cross under your body. We're coming into sleeping swan. So, got a cramp in my foot. All right, so you can have your right shin as parallel to the top of the mat as feels right for you today, or you can have that heel really close towards your left hip. Make sure that you're not bringing your right glute towards the floor. Rather, it is lifted and that right hip is closer towards the mat. If you need to, you can stay here in a beautiful swan. Or you can lower yourself down and relax. Continue to focus on a little gentle squeeze of the glutes, but remember that right glute should not be touching the mat. Maybe it is. Maybe you got a lot of glute to work with, but for most people, it's going to be hovering in the air. Ooh. Big stretch throughout the glute into the hamstring right here. We got one more minute left. Take that tension out of your shoulders, so feel free to press your elbows to the floor. Maybe relax your head all the way down to really sleep it out for your final minute, to encourage as much release of any tension through your upper body as possible. if you were sleeping. Take your time, lift your head up, bring your hands, palms back underneath the shoulder area. We're going to tuck our back toe under, lift that leg up and come back into down dog. Feel free to once again pedal through your heels. Find that nice big stretch through the back. This time plant your right foot on the floor. Inhale that left leg up towards the ceiling. Draw your left knee forward. Cross your left toes to the right side of the mat and come on down into your pigeon and then sleeping swan. So you can stay here. You can be an amazing pigeon. Carrier of all the good vibes. Or you can release yourself a little bit lower to the mat. No judgment for however straight this leg ended up with the top. Maybe you're a little more open on this side, maybe a little bit more closed. Once again, bring that stretch into your shoulders, that release. Feel free to get very sleepy here, my little swans. We have just over 1 minute left. Remember the left glute, we're not rolling over to the left side to relax. We're working to bring that right hip crease closer to the mat. Belly is relaxed by the thigh. Big stretch through the lower leg. Also a nice lengthening of the spine. One minute left right here. Take your time, gently lift your head. Bring your hands back to the floor if they weren't already there. Tuck your back toes under. Lift yourself up, back to down dog one more time. Oh, pedal it out. Find that big stretch of your low back. Stretch those glutes all the way to the back of the room. And then take your time, bring it on down into tabletop. All right, next up we have dragon, a hip opener. So you can either come to dragon from tabletop right here, just bringing one leg forward, or if you like down dog and your shoulders feel good, you can always send your hips up towards the ceiling. Lift that right leg up, and then we're going to plant the right foot down by the right hand. Release your left toes back down towards the floor. And we're coming into dragon. So if the floor feels really far away, if you found a lot of rounding in your back to try and reach down towards the floor and that didn't feel great, use your blocks. Maybe you even stand them up lengthwise as you just open those hips one more time. Do, do, do. If it feels good for you, if you want more of a stretch, if you haven't gotten enough in those hips yet, you can always come into low flying dragon and release yourself all the way down to the mat on your forearms. As such, I feel like I should demonstrate it. It's okay if as you come into low flying dragon, if that knee starts to fall out towards the side as well. Just make sure it's not coming forward of those toes. All right, we're gonna finish here with the twist. So keep your left hand on the floor, right? This is supposed to be your right leg. left hand on the floor, and inhale your right arm up towards the ceiling. Things get real confusing when you mix up right and left. One little active posture here at the end. If this is too much for you, you can always stretch your fingers towards the back of the room for a little bit less on the shoulders. Find a soft spot to gaze your eyes or close them. Three more breaths here. These are our last hip openers of the day. All right, take your time, plant your right hand back on the floor, lift that left arm up back to straight arms. Option to either come back into tabletop or lift your back leg up, come back into down dog. And then we're going to come right into our hip opener on the opposite side. So bringing that left foot forward this time and releasing that right foot back towards the floor. Option to use your blocks. You can stay nice and lifted. You can use knuckles down if your wrists are getting tired. Or you can be a beautiful sleeping, low flying dragon and come all the way down towards the mat. Make sure your hips are still square towards the top of the mat though, not opening up towards the back leg behind us. We'll take 2 more breaths here and then we'll turn it into that amazing twist, either reaching up towards the ceiling or the wall behind you. So once you finish that second breath, release your right hand down towards the floor or your block and inhale your left arm up towards the ceiling or to the wall behind you. I think this stretch to the wall behind me is just what my body needs today. Find a relaxing place for your head, no extra wrinkles or cricks in the neck. Feeling a nice stretch in the right leg quad here as well. Last 2 breaths. Let's make it 3. All right, take your time. Release that left hand back down towards the floor. Ooh, bring your right leg back to meet with your left, either coming through down dog or just coming back into tabletop. Release those knees down towards the floor. Walk yourself a little further up your mat. Cross your legs behind you. Come on down into your glutes. Oh, so nice. We're going to go ahead and lay down on our mats. Opportunity to challenge those abs. You might want to keep your blocks nearby. We got a spine twist before we're done. Take your time as you lower yourself down, either with your hands behind your thighs or your knees for a little support, or palms facing up towards the ceiling. Challenge those abs. Receive some energy. Walk those feet in. And really feel that lower back ground with the mat. Taking a little twisted root here. Go ahead, extend your arms out to the side. Press into your feet, lift yourself up. Come to whichever side feels best for you to start. Ooh, can you stack your hips and keep your shoulders on the floor? The more that you work to lift that top hip up, to truly stack one on top of the other, the bigger stretch you'll start to feel down that whole spine. Hi, Fred. one more minute right here, and then we'll get a nice spine twist on the opposite side. Take these last 3 or 4 breaths to melt into the mat as much as you can. Really release the last of any tension you're still feeling in your shoulders, in your jaw, in your chest, in your hips, in your glutes. And on your next exhale, we're going to roll back onto our backs. Ground your feet, get your lower back ground with the mat as well. A little engagement of the abdominal core. Take 3 breaths here. Scanning your body even just during these recovery breaths for any tension you can release. When you're ready, press into your feet, lift your hips up, roll to the opposite hip. Allow your legs to fall over to the side. As much as feels good for you, maybe using a prop, either under the legs, between the legs. Once again, see how much you can get both shoulders on the mat, and then stack your hips to create as deep of a stretch as feels good for you. Just making sure there's no free shows. You can look in the opposite direction of your knees for a deeper twist all the way up into your neck, or continue looking in the same direction of your knees for something a little bit more passive. Relax your upper body as much as you can. Create that twist through your spine, squeezing all of the junk out that we might still be holding on to. On your next exhale, gently roll onto your back once more. Take your time, kick your legs out in front of you as much as you want to. Maybe you want to open those hips again and recline bound angle, but it's time for our final Savasana. So find what feels good. We'll take stillness together for 4 minutes and then close up class. As always, you're welcome to stay in this final Savasana for longer than the next 4 minutes, for however long feels right for your body today. Do one more scan from head to toe. At least one more scan, I should say. Know that the Savasana is also a part of your class. It's the time that you allow your practice to really sink in. Maybe you reflect upon your thoughts or your feelings. Maybe you take notice of how your body feels now versus when class started. Tune into your breath. Come back to your stillness. And stay in the moment. You're welcome to stay here in this final Savasana as long as feels good for you. If you'd like to close up class together, take a little wiggle of your fingers and your toes. Wake up your extremities, and then take your time as you make your way to a seated position of your choice. When you get there, bring your hands palms to the center of your chest with your thumbs touching on your sternum in Namaskar. And then tuck your chin as you take a moment to truly take in and honor yourself for creating time and space for your practice today. If you have any questions or concerns about anything I said or we did, please reach out. If you have any aches or pains or needs that you would like us to create a class to address, let us know in the comments. Till you see me again, I hope you continue to think good thoughts, to speak good words, to eat good foods and do good deeds and nourish yourself from the inside out. If it feels right, bring your thumb up to your third eye, your drishti, lift your beautiful face, your elbows, your heart up to the sky, and know that the light within me honors and sees and is so thankful for the light within you. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. Namaste.